I have been receiving a lot of messages from people because they needed to know more about Congo. And I really understood that because someone who's never been there or someone who's never read about it before, it's very hard to understand what's going on. So I have made a small documentary explaining the wars in Congo, where they started and how they started, who's causing them, and the connection between Rwanda and the wars in Congo. So if you want to know more about Congo, please watch. The Democratic Republic of Congo is located in Central Africa. It is the second largest country on the continent of Africa. The capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo is Kinshasa. The country is often referred to by its acronym, the DRC, or called Congo-Kinshasa because there are two Congos in Africa. The Democratic Republic of Congo gained independence from Belgium in 1960. The country's first national elections saw Patrice Lumumba, who fought and won for its independence, become the first president of the country. But he was unable to form a coalition because of a lot of problems that were going on and a lot of people who were fighting against him. Lumumba was later removed from his position and executed. It is sometimes said that he was killed by the CIA or his own country. After his execution, the dictator Mobutu took power in a coup. The country was renamed Zaire in 1971, but the name was later changed back to the Democratic Republic of Congo in 1997 by the next president after Mobutu. The next president after Mobutu was Joseph Kabila Kabange. Congo is very rich in natural resources, which is one of the biggest cause of a lot of atrocities that have been happening to the country. Congo carries a vast deposits of industrial diamonds, cobalt, and copper, one of the largest forest reserves in Africa, and about half of the hydroelectric potential of the continent. Congo was blessed with a lot of natural resources such as cobalt, copper, diamonds, gold, manganese, uranium, coltan, iron, hydroelectronic potential, agricultural land, oil, natural gas, animals that you can't find anywhere else in the world, and more than I can't really finish today. You may be wondering why the wars in this country don't end. Well, the Western countries such as United States of America, France, Belgium, Canada, England, Norway, and more have played a big role in the perpetuation of conflicts in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Some of the ways in which Western countries have contributed to the problems include historical colonial legacy. Western powers, particularly Belgium, exploited the country's resources and created a system of governance that favored exploitation over the development of the country. In the political and military support, Western countries have provided military aid and political support to various regimes and rebel groups, often prioritizing their own strategic interests over the well-being of the Congolese people. Economic interests. Western companies have been involved in the extraction of the DRC's natural resources, often with little regard for environment and social impacts. Demand for minerals. The demand for minerals like cobalt, copper, and tin in the Western consumer electrics and other products has fueled the conflict as armed groups seek to control mining areas. Lack of effective international action. Despite condemning the violence, Western countries have not always taken decisive action to address the root causes of the conflict or hold perpetrators accountable. Some Western countries have also been accused of neocolonialism, using their economic and political power to influence the DRC's government and maintain control over its resources. And another big problem is the conditional aid. Western aid to the DRC has often come with conditions that prioritize economic liberation and political stability over social welfare and human rights. Many people have been asking how Rwanda is always involved in the conflicts in Congo. Well, Rwanda has been involved in the conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo through its alleged support of the M23 rebel group, which has been fighting against the Congolese government for years. But before speaking about M23, that was formed on April 4th, 2012, let me take you back in the 90s first, where it all started. For someone who doesn't know Rwanda, Rwanda is a very small country located in the east of Africa. Its first involvement in the Democratic Republic of Congo occurred in 1996, when Rwanda and Uganda invaded the DRC to root out the the remaining killers of the 1994 Rwanda genocide. The Rwandan genocide, also known as the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, was a devastating and brutal mass slaughter that occurred in Rwanda from April 7th to July 15th, 1994. Here is a summary. An estimated 800,000 people, primarily from the Tutsi ethnic group, but also moderate Hutu and other minorities, were killed. The genocide was organized by the Hutu majority, led by the interim government and supported by the police and the military of the country, then called Interahamwe at the time. The genocide ended when the Tutsi-led Rwandan Patriotic RPF, led by Paul Kagame, defeated the Hutu-led government and took over the country again. After the Rwandan Patriotic Front RPF took control of Rwanda in July 1994, many Hutu individuals, including former government officials and military personnel, Interahamwe, that was the military of the country at the time, civilians who had participated in the genocide, fled the country seeking refuge in the neighboring states, particularly in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The reason they went there is a very big country and has a lot of forests and also a lot of tribes, which became easy for them to hide. Many Hutu refugees settled in camps, primarily in eastern DRC. In these camps, some Hutu individuals reorganized and formed a rebel group such as the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda, FDLR, which continued planned waging war against the RPF-led government in Rwanda. When the new Rwandan government saw that, it was worried they will continue to regroup and come back to take back the country or to finish what they had already started, which was the genocide. The new government of Rwanda just took over a country that was destroyed by war. Banks were robbed, houses were destroyed, and it was almost an empty country because people who didn't die fled the country. They had no idea of how to rebuild the country because Rwanda is a very small country with no natural resources. So they needed to cross the Democratic Republic of Congo's borders for two reasons. One, it was to neutralize the former military because they knew that they were regrouping and were way many than them. They knew that if they wait for them to come back, they would have taken back the country because they were too many and also well armed. Secondly, it was to steal Congo's minerals so they can rebuild their country. However, they had one problem. The international law does not allow one country to cross another country's borders. But they later learned that there was another genocide that was happening in Congo against Nilorix people of Congo, such as Banyamulenge, Banyamasisi, and more. So this was a perfect opportunity for them to cross over the borders because they almost look alike and their languages are somehow similar. By the cruelty of Rwanda, they entered the country in the name of other Congolese tribes who were already going through a genocide. They didn't care to help them at all. They started executing people while they stole the minerals, robbing banks, or anything else that had value in the country. As stated before, that's when they also helped Joseph Kabila Kabange to become the next president of Congo because they were hoping that he will continue to let them rob the country. As soon as he took over the country, he gave Uganda and Rwanda 24 hours to evacuate the country. Rwanda and Uganda left the country and never looked back at the time. As mentioned above, because they entered the country masking people that they were some of the Congolese tribes, other Congolese considered it and started killing tribes like Banyamulenge on a daily basis because they kept connecting them with Rwanda even though they were not connected at all. Rwanda did the same thing around 2012 again under the rebel group M23 as mentioned above, and Rwanda is doing it again right now under the same rebel group M23. Other than Rwanda, Uganda, and the Western countries, Congo has also another big problem of tribalism and a corrupted government, which it feels like the government doesn't care about the citizens other than their own benefits. Even though Congo is a good country that was blessed with a lot of good things, sometimes it feels like a curse to be born as a Congolese because of the pain and suffering this country has gone through. So if you are one of the people who have been asking why the Western government doesn't help, well, it's because they are the ones causing all the problems in Congo. I know you may also be wondering why the media don't talk about it that much. Well, the media is owned by these governments, which means they are all on it. At this point, we know for sure that they don't want to help. We just wish they would keep their hands to themselves at least. Thank you very much for watching and for your time.